The process covered so far include all the work that must be done 10 to 12 weeks in advance of your project start date. For placement, let's walk through the final preparations. We have walked through a system overview of the PrīmXComposite technology and guided you through the project estimating and design process. We've also talked through work that should be completed 2 to 3 months in advance of your project, and we're now ready to talk about the final tasks leading up to your pour date. These tasks include testing, site preparation, and communication with your partners. As a reminder, for each process, we identify if it's a best practice or mandatory task. Let's begin. The Prime Quality system is where we track all project information and where real-time data from the pour is reviewed by the lab in Latvia. Setup is quick and easy and is a requirement for all PrīmXComposite jobs. Guidance on setup will be given by the PrīmX project manager. After setting up the system, you will work with your ready mix supplier to schedule a 3 cubic yard test batch. The time scheduled with your supplier must also work for the design team in Latvia. Make sure to confirm your quality control contact at the batch plant will be present for the test, and be sure to bring enough flow with you to perform at least 2 tests. To calculate how much you need, reference the concrete design as the liters of prime flow per cube are specified. When completing the test batch, you will work with the concrete mix design team. This team sent you the concrete design and completed your aggregate and cement testing previously. As you know, this team is located overseas and unfortunately doesn't get to see the batch plant setup. Any pictures you can take of the plant, the aggregate, storage piles or other components are helpful to provide context. Those pictures can be uploaded to Prime Quality and emailed to the team. Using the form shown here, complete the test batch by testing at 3 different points. First, once the mix is batched, test for slump, weight, air percentage and temperature. These are the same 4 criteria you'll test each round. Capture the data in the first column of the form and take pictures of the mix. Next, add the first dosage of prime flow and mix for 1 minute per cube. Conduct the same testing and take additional pictures, capturing the data in the second column of the form. Finally, add the final dosage of prime flow. Conduct tests, take pictures and capture test results in column 3 of the form. Send the final form, pictures, and batch tickets to concrete@preemx.com so they are able to analyze the results. They will provide feedback and, if you need, ask you to make corrections and retest. Sometimes a test batch may result in slight changes to the concrete mix design. If there are changes, you will receive an updated design document from the concrete team. The changes made at this point will most likely be in aggregate quantities or ratios, and not in the materials you ordered weeks ago. Remember, if your mix design changed, you will need to get an updated copy to the ready mix plant contact to avoid any issues. At least 2 weeks before the first pour date, hold a kickoff meeting with the batch plant contact. The goal of this meeting is to communicate the flow of trucks at the job site, the delivery requirements, and the prime flow dosage process. This is meeting with just you and the batch plant contacts, not the other partners at this point. Before the meeting, ensure the time date works for everyone and prepare a job site plan that will show the truck entrance, exit, mixing station locations. Also, make sure that you have copies of the concrete delivery requirements form printed and ready. You'll use that form as a guide to your discussions. Prepare yourself by reviewing the site plan and determining the location of the prime flow dosing. At the meeting, double check to make sure they have the final mix design and that they are fully aware of our testing requirements. Communicate that it is important that the quality control contact is available on every pour date and agree to conduct additional testing at the plant if issues arise. After the meeting, send the completed concrete delivery requirements form to the meeting attendees. After working through the details with your batch plant contact, you will need to schedule a broader pre-pour meeting to bring all in parties together. Working with a general contractor, schedule a meeting that includes your PrīmXComposite team, you, the job site superintendent and the foreman, the general contractor, PM, the testing company representative, and a main contact at the ready mix supplier, and the excavator representative. Before the meeting, print off the kickoff meeting minute template to use as a guide for the meeting. Read through the documents and print any additional documents that you'll need to discuss. At the meeting, fill out the form and discuss any potential issues. The final version should then be distributed to everyone via email, so each group has a copy. At your pre-pour meeting, you will discuss the project, the site, and the unique circumstances that exist on a PrīmXComposite job. You will coordinate getting the PrīmXComposite materials to site, as well as the blowers and pumps needed for the mixing station. Your job site representative, most likely your foreman or superintendent, will need to be ready for the deliveries. Ensure the materials are protected from the elements and that the mixing stations are set up in an area that is firm and dry. When containers are delivered, your contact must ensure they are secure and have not been breached or damaged. In addition, the materials need to be unloaded in a place where they are not exposed to moisture or freezing temperatures, and where they may be secured from theft or vandalism. The project manager should continue to secure and inspect the materials throughout the project. Lastly, DC is sensitive to moisture and will spoil in high humidity. Plan for the post-project storage of materials back at your warehouse in a climate-controlled environment. Remember, DC only has a shelf life of 6 months from manufacturing date, at which time it loses its reactivity and should be disposed of. As with any concrete job, the site will require preparation before the pour date. The preparations for a PrīmXComposite job, however, require the space allocation for your additive mixing station. Work with your general contractor to determine the best space that allows both truck access and storage of the materials needed at the station. Use the picture and diagram shown here to model your station setup. Your fiber blower should be lined up where trucks have access to back into the station. Place the PrīmFlow tote next to each blower and the DC pump on the other side of the tote. You will need a tap water source at each DC pump as well. Allow space to store the pallets of fibers and DC within close proximity, and dumpsters for cardboard and DC bag waste. A platform may be needed for the fiber integration station to make them ergonomical for the operators. You'll also need to ensure that all safety protocols are followed. First, the workers at the DC integration station must be clothed in Tyvek suits with respirators, in addition to your company-required PPE. Order suits and respirators ahead of time to have them on hand for all upcoming projects. Second, all workers on the job site must wear your company's required concrete production PPE, including high-vis workwear, hard hats, and safety glasses. In the event of DC reactivity or skin exposure, treat the injury using the standard protocol for concrete burns. Once you have worked through the logistics of the equipment, materials, and safety precautions for the team, you will need to test the base and sub-base of the site. There are 2 required tests, the roll test and the plate test. Use the criteria shown here to pass or fail the base. Both tests need to be conducted by a third-party testing company, and the casting of PrīmXComposite project cannot start if the sub-base fails. The last preparation before first pour is the test slab. You'll need to pour a slab of approximately 5 meter by 6 meter in an area on the job site if you're using a new ready-mix partner or a new concrete design from PrīmX in Latvia. If you're using the same ready-mix supplier as you have on previous PrīmX jobs and are using the same concrete design as prior job as well, you can save the expense and skip this step. You will be logging all results in PrīmQuality, so make sure the test pour is set up within the system. At the batching plant, test the concrete before the addition of any PrīmXComposite materials, then add the PrīmFlow and test again. If results resemble the test batch, continue to the job site. Once at the job site, test temperature and slump upon arrival and add the balance of the PrīmXComposite materials, mixing 1 minute per cubic meter. Then test the concrete for temperature, slump, air percentage and weight. If it passes, continue with the placement and finishing. Be sure to use the same machines for the test slab as the large building slabs to ensure similar results, and review the results with the general contractor and owner. Let's do a quick recap of the required actions during the advanced preparations for your project. First, on the mandatory side, remember to complete the design request form and send it to the engineering team to receive a structural design with the specified PrīmXComposite thickness. Next, estimate your project using the most current version of the estimating template, and always allow at least 8 weeks for your material order. This means that you should not commit to a tight timeline in your bid without talking with your PrīmXComposite team member. For best practices, use the guidelines provided to determine if PrīmXComposite is a fit for your project and what the thickness should be. Also, do not indicate the thickness on your proposals, and use the sales presentation templates to show your customer project-specific benefits to using PrīmX and PrīmXComposite. Great job! You are ready for your first PrīmXComposite pour. Any questions, please don't hesitate to contact your PrīmX representative.